the president said that moving forward, the fact that we are grappling with the challenge of inadequate funds, especially to carry out different duties as government, the president advised that entities should be merged. And for example, I know REA was merged with the ministry, and also the other agencies like UEGCL, ERA, and what. How is the ministry backtracking that to ensure that you merge some of these entities? Because he's looking at cost cutting.
The merger, what we term in government as the rationalization of government agencies and expenditures, RAPEX, is a government policy. And it was informed by the need to harmonize these agencies, multiple agencies, but also cut down on the costs of operations of these agencies. It's true that for the ministry, the very first agency, which was also the first in government to be mainstreamed, was the Rural Electrification Agency, which is now a fully fledged department in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Among the next lot of agencies to be merged is of course, are some of our utility companies, the Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited, Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited, Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited. And we are working with the Ministry of Public Service because they lead in this process to see how best we handle these mergers. We've already worked with them on the initial structure of the merged National Electricity Company, and we will work in the next few months to ensure we handle the whole merger process. The merger was supposed to have commenced last financial year, but due to the additional preparatory work that was needed, Ministry of Public Service guided that this merger will take effect financial year 24-25. So we are working with the Ministry of Public Service on this. We are aware of the potential risks, and we've worked out a framework for mitigating most of these risks. We are aware that there are possible risks of staff attrition due to the uncertainty this might create, and that's why we are engaging, working with the Ministry of Public Service to communicate the plan around the merger. We are aware of the need to ensure that this merger does not affect the operations of the electricity supply industry, and that's why we are keen to ensure that the structure ensures the stability of the sector. So even the structure that we are working on with the public service is ensuring distinct business operations, so that when you come into this merged company, you're not commingling all these operations, but in there are distinct business departments of generation, transmission, and distribution.
So in terms of staff, I wanted to look at how many people are you looking at, and what's the plan in terms of either absorbing or even sending them off? What's the plan?
You know, the merger, because we are in Parliament, is something that I don't want to overdrive. So we do have these figures, and in the structure that we worked on, because as you do the merging, you're basically taking what you have today, and in terms of the three companies, and looking at an optimal structure for the new company. So we do have all the figures of how many staff exist in the current establishments, and then what we are merging that into. And until Cabinet has approved that, because these structures have not yet gone to Cabinet.
We are looking at what exact time frame? Is it by end of this year? Is it by end of next year?
The timelines of the time frame that the Ministry of Public Service has communicated is financial year 24-25. And that's what we are working with until advised otherwise. So that remains the target.
So those entities, they are going to be departments in the Ministry of Energy?
No. The three companies are being merged into one limited liability company
called
the Uganda National Electricity Company. It will have its own board, it will have its management. So the ministry continues to play its policy role and then supervise that single limited liability company. Something similar to what we have in Tanzania, TANESCO. It is a fully vertical integrated company that handles transmission, generation, distribution.
Because previously why the president thought to have these entities was the fact there was a challenge of poor service delivery in terms of ministries and other mainstream government agencies. So do you really think the Ministry of Energy is going to be rendering services better after the mergers?
The Ministry of Energy is already doing a good job in meeting its obligations and its mandate. But like any entity, there's always room for improvement. So through this merging process, we expect that we reorganize ourselves better. We expect to see stronger sector coordination, which is very critical in the delivery of our strategy. Some of those key aspects will definitely lead to more efficiency in our operations.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Welcome.